Hi everyone, this is a very quick review of array lists in Java, and we're also going to look at how you can create an array list of integers in Java. So I've been messing around with a spaceships program, and I've developed my spaceship class here. As you can see, there are 3 instance variables, and my constructor method requires a string, an integer, and a string array reference. Okay? So pause this video now if you just want to take a longer look at my spaceship class. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an array list of spaceship objects. I'm going to call it ships. The reference variable is ships, and this is a new array list of spaceship objects. And I'm going to add a new spaceship object to my array list. Now remember, the constructor method for the spaceship requires a string, which is the name. I'm just going to call this one Red Rocket. It requires the age, so 3 years old, and it also requires a string array of pilot names. Actually, I made some earlier. So here are 3 string arrays, and I've got some pilot names here for each of the arrays. So for my first spaceship, I'm going to add the reference variable pilots1. Okay, and of course I can also repeat that process a few times. Let's call the next spaceship Blue Rocket. Blue Rocket is 1 year old, and its pilots are referenced by the pilots2 array, Steve, Salmon, and Simon. And the third one is of course our favorite Pink Rocket, which is only 4 years old, and I'm going to pass the pilots3 reference variable into the spaceship constructor method. So we've created an array list of objects, and we've populated the array at the moment with 3 spaceship objects. Okay? Now a question came to my mind the other day. What if I want to create an array list of integers? So I'm just gonna delete all this stuff, and let's just type out a bit of code here. Array list int nums equals new array list of int. So my syntax looks good, but I have an error here. Syntax error, insert dimensions to complete reference type. Actually, I have no idea what that means, but I can tell you something. You cannot create an array list of primitive data types. So we cannot do that. We cannot do this. Boolean is a primitive data type. We're going to get an error. Int is a primitive data type. We're going to get an error. But the guys who developed the Java programming language realized it would be useful to have array lists of integers. Why not? So they developed the integer class. And this is what it looks like when we try to make an array list of integers. For this to work in your program, you will need to include your Java util library. You will have done this anyway to get your array list to work. Okay? But the integer class also requires this. Our error has gone away. Let's try and add an integer to our array list. Brilliant. Let's do another one. Brilliant. Now let's loop through. I'm going to use an enhanced for loop. The data type is integers. I'm going to use a loop variable called I, and I'm going to loop through the nums array. And all I'm going to do is system.out.println I. So I'm looping through an integer array, and I'm using a control variable I to loop through the array, which is nums. This is an enhanced for loop. And if we do that, we get the result. Let's just mess around with this a little bit. Nums.add, I'm going to put this in the first index, the number 10. So we've got 4, then we've got 6, and then we've got 10, but I'm adding 10 in the first index of the array list, currently populated by 6. So 10 will go into here, and 6 will be pushed down into the second index. And let's just see if that happens. 4, 10, 6. Okay, let's just add another nums.add. In the first index, 0, I'm going to add the number 20. So 20 is going to go into the first index. It will start the array list, and everything else will be pushed down. And let's see if that works. 20, and then 4, and then 10, and then 6. And now I'm going to do something a bit weird. Nums.set. So in the second index of the array, I'm going to add the number 15. Now set, remember, just means replace. So at the moment, number 4 is populating index 1, but I'm going to replace it with the number 15. So we should see 20, 15, 10, 6. 20, 15, 10, 6. And just finally, let's do nums.remove. I'm going to remove the second element. So 0, 1, 2, 10 is going to be removed, so we should see 20, 15, 6. So there's a very brief review of some ArrayList stuff, including a look at an enhanced for loop and how to create an array list of integers.